Listen, my name is Muhammad, okay? I have a platform like YouTube where there's people watching me. If you're watching me, thank you, bro. So because there's actually people that are watching, I feel like now it's actually my duty to talk about the things that are happening in the world right now. And okay, I can't give you a solution, right? I'm basically just a guy in the forest. I can't give you a solution, but I can maybe give you like just some help. Now look, I'm not gonna mention any names. You guys already know what's happening in the world, the Middle East, all that stuff. The wars. I don't want to mention names obviously because the channel is gonna get demonetized and the videos are gonna get taken down, so like what's the point? But Habibi, don't you guys realize that us humans, like, we're all connected by one thing? We're all connected. So if something's actually hurting like an entire nation in a whole different continent, that thing is gonna start hurting you as well. Like, everybody is literally just one body. So you know how it's like I have a nose and then you have a nose. I'm pretty sure you have a nose. Or like I have lips and then you have lips. Or like I have a head and you have a head. So we're all actually made by like one soul. And this one soul is actually connected to the other soul. Like the nose can't be connected, like my nose can't be connected to your nose and stuff like that. But my soul is connected to your soul. That's why sometimes you see people who are like you think of them and all of a sudden you get a call from them. Or it's like right before you go to sleep, you think of someone and all of a sudden you meet them the other day and they're just like, bro, I had a dream of you last night. And you're like, oh, that's weird. I was literally thinking about you just last night before I went to sleep. What I'm trying to say is like we're all connected. So me and you are not that far off. And just the fact that you're watching this video, it's actually crazy. Like, like you're not watching this video by accident. So what I mean by that is that if you see people who are like struggling in like a whole other continent, that should show you that like us humans, we've done something wrong. So in the Quran, it actually says it's like the bad things that happen to your life, it's because of your own fault. So when there's people dying and like genocides happening and all that stuff, Habibi, it's like it's my fault and your fault. So like this stuff about like the soul and like the ruh and like the thoughts influence reality and all that stuff is real, Habibi. So like if this is real, like why am I telling you all that stuff? Because in the Quran it actually says that Allah does not change the state of a nation until they change what's within themselves. If you're a Muslim and you're watching this, even if you're not a Muslim, Habibi, like we're all connected, but like if you're a Muslim and you're watching this, the people are struggling because of me and you. So what we have to do is that you and I, we actually have to change what's within ourselves first, and then you'll notice like automatically the world outside is going to start changing. Like how do you actually do it? Habibi, just obey what Allah said and what the Prophet said, what the Prophet, peace be upon him, said. That's all you have to do. What's the proof behind that? Well, don't you remember, like in one of the battles with the Muslims, I think it was either Badr or Uhud, where the archers, the Prophet, peace be upon him, he told them to stand at the mountain and basically whatever happens, don't leave your location. So when the Muslims looked like they were winning, they were just like, oh, like now we can go grab like the treasures and all that stuff. So then they left. And so what happened as a result, they got like flanked and then they got killed. So it's like in the Quran when that happened, Allah never mentioned it where it's like it's your fault and stuff like that, like telling them that you guys did something bad and all that stuff. Like he didn't even tell them that like you've done something wrong in the war, like there was something positionally wrong in the war or strategically wrong in the war. Like what did he actually say? He just said that you did not follow what the Prophet said, and as a result you got humiliated. This is like the biggest proof, Habibi. And this is so crazy because it's like you don't even like all the wealth, all like the victory and all the stuff, like it's not something that you just go and you get. It's something that basically Allah gives to you. Like Allah gives it, doesn't get it. Like you know that surah An-Nasr, where it's like إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ, like it says إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ. It basically says when the victory comes from Allah. It doesn't say it's like when you become victorious or when you become victorious because of yourselves. It's like when Allah finally gives you the victory. So the victory is not something that you are gonna basically go and get. It's something that Allah is gonna give to you. And how is He gonna give that victory to you? Well, the conditions have to be in place. And this is so obvious. It's not like something like even like crazy. Like for example, if you want to start benching like I don't know 2 plates and stuff like that, you have to make the conditions right. So you actually have to go to the gym, bench press at least like 3 times a week or something, 2 times a week, and then make sure that you're eating right and you're sleeping properly. So when the conditions are there, as a result, like you'll start benching properly, or like you'll bench like 2 plates at the end. So in order for victory to happen, the conditions actually need to be there. And by the way, again, bro, like I'm just a guy in the forest whose name happens to be Muhammad, which means I'm constantly blessed. So again, like I have this channel that I can talk to like a bunch of people on. So I do feel blessed because of that. But it doesn't mean like whatever I say is like right. This is just this is truly, bro. This is just some of the reflections I'm having from walking inside this forest. I'm not lost, by the way, but you get what I mean. And then also on top of that, Habibi, it's like when you start cleansing the soul, when you start cleansing the soul with dhikr, like with remembrance of Allah, you'll notice that when your soul is clean, it's almost like, again, like the entire world around you starts shifting. And this is so beautiful. Like, I don't understand how not more people start talking about this. And then on top of that, what you'll notice is that when the soul actually starts getting cleansed, like it actually says in the Quran, where it's like the friends of Allah, like you'll become a friend of Allah, but like the friends of Allah, there is basically no fear amongst them, or like no grief. What does that mean? Bro, Habibi, like how does fear come? Fear usually comes because of the future. And how does grief comes? It comes because of the past. So when you actually start like returning to Allah, when you start returning to the source, what you'll notice is that you'll start actually living in the present moment, because the present moment is in the present. It's not like it's the now, basically. It's not like the past, or it's not like the future. It's in the now. And then when you're in the now, I'm telling you, bro, you're gonna start almost like willing things into the world. You'll start having light coming out of your face, light coming out of your hand, because Allah is light. And so when you're connected back to Allah, like you'll actually start shining. And then when you're shining, it's like, Habibi, like whatever you do is gonna become perfect. And this is so amazing. Now, I wanted to relate all of this to what's happening in the world right now. Most of us have forgotten to go back to the source. Most of us are basically disconnected from the source. We're all basically just following like our desires and stuff like that, or following like whatever inclinations we get. We just go and do it. Now, look, you know the Prophet, peace be upon him, like before he even started preaching this whole message, what was he doing? Habibi, he was going to the cave. He was going to the cave and staying there for like days. It's like, what was he doing in the cave, man? You have to fix what's inside first. And bro, I even think Confucius actually said the same thing. It's like, he was like, if you want to change the entire society, well, first of all, you got to change like the community. But then to change the community, you got to change your family. But then to change your family, you got to change yourself. And to change yourself, it starts with the thoughts. So you got to change this whole thing, Habibi. But like the way you change like this whole thing is not by like going and doing certain things. It's basically just removing things. So when you're doing dhikr, you're basically removing all this like false self that you created, and you're going back to the true self. Basically the limitless self. So in every single moment, when you're constantly being reminded by Allah, you're actually removing the veils, like the dirtiness, the dust that you've added onto yourself. Because when you're in this world, naturally you'll start getting like dust. When you're with people, naturally you start getting dust and like dirtiness on you, like on the heart, I mean. And then when you clean that, you'll start shining so much, like you'll actually become like a beacon to other people. And then you'll basically start like flowing with the will of Allah. And the will of Allah is always good. Like you won't even be worried about anything else anymore, because you know it's like the mind is limited, right? Like you know sometimes when you're in the flow, and it's like when you're playing sports and you're in the flow and you're just doing, you're not even thinking, it's like you'll constantly start living in that state, which is beautiful. So then when you're actually in that state, what's going to happen is almost like Allah is going to start using you to do whatever is actually good. Like right now, I don't even know. It's just, I was in my house and I was like, okay, I kind of want to go on a walk. So I went on a walk, and then I'm like, okay, let me just make a video and stuff. And now I'm making a video, and all of a sudden, like this walk, me being in the forest, a video came out of it.